The meanest thing, you ain't gonna believe this, mate. They've pulled out the money, turned around and said they're gonna pay for me for a hostel. I've walked along talking with them, and when they've got to the corner to turn their way, and I've turned around and said to them, can I have that money so I can go my way? They've turned around and said, what money? I said, hold on a minute, mate, you said you was going to help me. They went, no, go on, fuck off.
How long have you been homeless for?
About a year and a half, 2 years now.
2 years. And how old are you?
I'm 41.
41. Jason, how did it all happen?
What it is like, I used to live in London ages ago.
Yeah.
I met my partner and we moved out to Plymouth.
Okay.
And what happened, all my family and everything was around here. And me and my partner had some children.
Okay.
And what happened, it was my parent, like my mum's first grandchild.
Okay.
And she begged us to come back to London.
Yeah.
And my partner had a really bad experience in London before. And she begged me not to come back to London.
Yeah.
Anyway, at the end of the day, to make my mum happy, to make things happy, she dragged herself back with me, not dragged, but come back with me to London and that. And she started coming back with bipolar, coming down with bipolar, where she started getting like very much depressed and that. And she started going through a change where she's in her like 40s, late 40s and that. And it just escalated basically, like the arguments between us, where she had bipolar and she was going through a change at the same time. Like I could be making a cup of tea, come back into her, and she was a completely different person in that, man. Like when I say completely different person, like it's a bit embarrassing because like I'm a man and that, she was beating the shit out of me, mate. Do you know what I mean? I used to have to sometimes hide myself in the toilet to get away from her.
She didn't recognise that you're her partner?
She knew I was her partner and that, but when you're going through your change and things like that,
can't control it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And like sometimes she'd have knives, she'd be stabbing the hell out of the door and things like that. And like it just got too much. So what I ended up doing is, so that she still had a roof over her head, I walked out of the property.
Okay.
And the council didn't have no sympathy because they wasn't giving her no support whatsoever. And I ended up making myself homeless because they turned around and said, you walked out of the property, so it's going to take you up to 6 months to a year to get yourself back on the ladder and that. And then it escalated from there, basically.
Did your mum try and help you?
My mum ended up meeting her partner and she moved away and left us. And that made things even worse because it was just the two of us on our own. Do you know what I mean?
What about your friends from before? Did they not try and intervene and help?
No, not really. No.
And how was your life like before you became homeless and before the situation with your wife happened?
Before I become homeless, I was a qualified scaffolder.
Okay.
Like, I was like a sort of jack of all trades in that, man. Do you know what I mean?
You had your regular life, you had your job.
Yeah. And that's what I say to people, you don't realise how lucky you are to get up in the morning, have a bit of breakfast, and go and have a cup of tea and walk out to work. I would do anything for that sort of life again.
Oh, it's just the simple things of life you really miss.
Do you know what I mean? Because like every morning I wake up now, I have to think to myself, excuse my language, where am I going to get £16 to get somewhere into a hostel tonight? Do you know what I mean? It's just, I just feel like I'm in a hole that I can't get out of.
Sorry to
Do you know what I mean? It's so like,
How was your first day being homeless on the streets? Describe to us that first day when you ended up on the streets.
Oh mate, there's no worse feeling in the world, mate. No worse feeling. It's just, you don't know what to do with yourself, mate.
Don't know where to begin.
No, right, for the first week I was just walking about in a circle because I didn't want to ask people for money because it was the thingy. But at the end of the day, my partner said, Jay, if we don't start asking people, we're going to starve to death. We're not going to have nowhere to like stay.
Yeah.
It's just, do you know what? Like, as time goes on, people think, oh, coming up to asking people for change is just not. It's not, mate. It takes all the courage and all the strength inside you to turn around and say to somebody, could you spare a little bit of change, please, mate? It's so hard, and sitting like this, I grew up around this area. Do you know what I mean? I never ever thought, because when I used to come round here with my mum and I used to see people sitting outside here, I used to think to myself, that will never ever ever happen to me. But you don't know what's around the corner, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's horrible, man.
Where do you currently sleep?
If I don't get my £16 like to get into a hostel and that, like if I get my £16 I go to Mile End Backpackers.
Okay.
If I don't get my £16 then I'll just find like a doorway. But at the moment, at the end of the road there's a street called Cranberry Street.
Yeah.
And at the end there's like steps that go up and it's underneath a shelter. So I'll stay there.
And Jason, what do you find to be the toughest part about being homeless?
Asking people for money for food and somewhere to sleep and that. Because when you're so hungry and you ask someone for a bit of change and they say no, it's like the whole world caves in on you. Do you know what I mean? It's so horrible, man.
And what's the nicest thing someone has done for you?
Like took me to a cash point and gave me like money to get like 2-3 nights in a hostel and things like that, man.
So there's a lot of nice people out there.
Yeah, no, yeah, there is. When it was snowing, like thank God, a lot of people did help in that. Like,
that brings me to the question that it was really freezing weather a few weeks ago. And,
that's what I was going to just say.
Really
yeah.
How did you cope in that weather?
A lot of people from the public helped. Do you know what I mean?
What's been the meanest thing someone has done to you?
The meanest thing, you ain't going to believe this, mate. They've pulled out the money, turned around and said they're going to pay for me for a hostel. I've walked along talking with them, and when they've got to the corner to turn their way, and I've turned around and said to them, can I have that money so I can go my way? They've turned around and said, what money? I said, hold on a minute, mate, you said you was going to help me. They went, no, go on, fuck off, why should I help someone like you, mate?
That is so sad.
You know what I mean?
It's really mean.
Right. Do you know what? And another horrible thing is, right, somebody held the money in front of me, turned around and said, look, there's 30 quid there, mate, for your 2 nights. Run up and down them steps like 15 times and I'll give you the money. I'll run up and down the steps 15 times, mate, and that. And so they turned around and said, fuck off.
That is evil.
Do you know what I mean? That is evil, isn't it, man?
That is really evil. And when people do that, how does that make you feel?
Degraded and that, man. Like proper degraded, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, and the most happiest thing someone's ever done is, do you know, when they'll give you like enough money for like 2-3 nights?
Yeah.
Because waking up that morning, it's just go on.
Yeah. So they when people do these things, how does that make you feel? You said degrading, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
And you said there was a nice things that someone's done for you as well.
Yeah. Do you know, like when they give you like 2-3 nights for a hostel and that?
Yeah.
Because waking up in the morning, not knowing where your next bit of hostel money is going to come from, like the day starts off so depressed. Do you know what I mean? But like when you've got that money there, like you pay for it, like you pay it all off in one go and that.
Yeah.
And then I know that I can get up in the morning, have a shower, like I just said to you, have a cup of tea, and go out and do my thing. Do you know what I mean?
Jason, what's the one lesson you've learned being homeless?
Pardon?
What's the one lesson that you've learned?
I will never ever, like, I know people can't give to everyone, but I will never ever walk past a homeless person and ignore them. I will always take the time out to find out what their situation and that is, man.
So you appreciate them more, basically.
Yeah, of course, man.
What gets you through the tough times?
Just knowing that there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Have any organisations tried to come and help you?
Like they say about the outreach team and things like that, but you don't never hardly see them about, mate. You know what I mean?
And Jason, if you could go back, is there anything you would change?
Yeah, I would never ever muck about in school again.
Yeah. And finally, what's your message to people that are going to watch this video? What would you like them to know about homeless people?
What do you mean, like other homeless people or general public?
Them to know about, general public. What's your message to them?
It doesn't cost a penny to turn around and say, sorry mate, I haven't got no change for you, but I hope things work out for you. Just being polite in general. Do you know what I mean?
Amazing. Thank you so much.